Welcome to Studio Wildfur. I'm Tails, and here we are with part 3 of building an adventure in Fantasy Grounds. Now, in the last episode, I built the surface building. Now I'm going to be building the catacombs. I'm going to start with putting in a staircase from the upper level to the catacombs below. Later, once the map is done, I'll edit a white fade onto the top of the staircase. The staircase comes down and connects to what is basically a large, almost circular room, which I'm going to use as a central nexus for this little catacombs area. Out to the left-hand side, I'm going to have some tombs and maybe a special room. This special room could be maybe a little mini secondary shrine hidden down here in the catacombs. Over on the right-hand side, I'm thinking we'll have a couple of little alcoves and maybe some, minor tombs. Down the very bottom between left and right, we're going to have just a big half circle room. Continuing the tile floor texture from above down through the stairs down into this main central nexus room, I'll make the catacombs lower by adding in some stairs, and then I'll transition at the bottom of the stairs to the stone rocky texture of the floor for the rest of the catacombs. Here and there I'm adding in pit traps for a nice little feature. Because I'm using a lot of curved walls in this area, there are sections that I'll have to edit out in Photoshop. A little bit of layer cleanup, putting all the layers into my floors and walls folder, and now it's time to add in props and objects. What else would you expect to see in the catacombs but coffins? So I'm looking for some coffins and maybe some tombs. And I've got some artwork of tomb headstones, or the large slab cover stones that we can put in. I put some coffins into the feature room, and then I remembered, oh no, I want to have a large altar in there, and here we go. There's a large altar that we can pop in there. Now that the map has pretty much been built, I can export it out and import it into Photoshop for a little bit of cleanup. At this point, I'm going around and I'm selecting the areas that are texture overshoot, that have gone outside the curved walls areas, and I'm just selecting them and replacing them with white. On some adventure maps, I'll replace the white area with stone texture, or like a underground dirt texture, but they're not necessarily useful this time around, because the white texture is behind the walls, and because we're going to be using dynamic lighting in Fantasy Grounds, you're not really going to see it. So adding a texture is probably a little bit of overkill. I might add it in later if I feel the need. When I add ascending staircases, I like to add in a white fade that sort of shows that you're heading up to a new level. Whereas with descending staircases, I like to add a black fade, a black fade that shows it's heading down into shadow. With the editing in Photoshop complete, I can load the image back into Fantasy Grounds and start working on the dynamic lighting, which will be the next episode. Thank you for watching.